little liquor, mix it up. Enjoy the tea, let loose and free. Share a laugh on your TV screen. Leanie's channel, there's the place where we gather all our grace. Smoke a cig, talk about your kid. Laugh and shout, let's flip the lid. Throw your worries out the door. We're all friends looking for more. Join the fun, let's raise a cheer. In this space there's no more fear. Click the play and feel the joy. With the girls and with the boys. Support each other day and night. We're a team, let's shine our light. Dreams and stories we will share. Over tea we'll clear the air. In this channel we belong. Leanie's laughter keeps us strong. Throw your worries out the door. We're all friends looking for more. Join the fun, let's raise a cheer. In this space there's no more fear. Leanie's channel, there's the place where we gather all our grace. Smoke a cig, talk about your kid. Laugh and shout, let's flip the lid. Throw your worries out the door. We're all friends looking for more. Join the fun, let's raise a cheer. In this space there's no more fear. No more fear. There's no more fear. There's no more fear. There's no more fear. Click the play and feel the joy. Girls in with the boys. Support each other day and night. We're a team, let's shine our light. Dreams and stories we will share. Over tea we'll clear the air. In this channel we belong. Leanie's laughter keeps us strong. Throw your worries out the door. With the girls and with the boys. Support each other day and night. We're a team, let's shine our light. No more fear. There's no more fear. There's no more fear. There's no more fear. Click the play and feel the joy. Girls in with the boys. Support each other day and night. We're a team, let's shine our light.
Hello, hello, hello. Hi, everybody. Hello. Hope everybody is doing good. I got my coffee. I got my Diet Coke. We are on go time. Go time. Listen, how are you guys doing? What'd you get into today? I want to know. Listen, I'm so sorry I had to move the live up 3 hours. I could give you excuses, but they're like assholes and everybody's got one. And it was probably not a good enough reason to move the live, but I had to. So there's that. So sorry. I'm sorry if I caused anybody to have to move stuff around, but this is the best kept secret on the YouTubes. And so I don't think I would have bothered too many people. Hello, hello. Thanks you guys for being here. Lunch lady, we need a new song written. It's got to be called American Grannies. American Grandma or American Grannies, preferably in the genre of country music. Yes, that would be perfect. Or folk. Probably country. Lizzo, hello. Get you some rest, girl, if you need it. Lulu. Let's get this show on the road. Hello, hello. Lizzo, thank you. Lulu, thank you. JB is here. Thank you so much. Joyce, good to see you. Lord Dandy, the Lord of all lost socks. We found, y'all, if you don't know, we found out today from the horse's mouth himself, he is a collector. Lord Dandy. He's a collector of all lost socks. If you know, you know. If you don't know, then go check out his latest live. He'll tell you himself. Lindley, hey girl, hey. Hope everybody's good. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Miss Barbara Smith is in the house, y'all. Good to see you, Miss Barbara. I hope you're feeling okay today. Let's see. I'm just skipping through here really. Yeah, Lunch Late. I think it's a perfect song. We'd have to give title credit to Lord Dandy, the Lord of all the Lost Socks. We have to give him the credit for the title, but other than that, I think it's a perfect song for all of us. I really do. Listen, I love shit I can make fun of. Like Max. If you notice the banner scrolling at the bottom, it says, y'all say hi to our resident creeper, Max Smith. He's hanging out in the naked bushes, fully clothed, understandably. Thanks for the view, Max. Oh, I really thank you for the view and for the negative PR. I love proving people wrong. You could probably understand more of that if you go to my community page, what that's about. But he is the resident creeper. He watches everything that I do. I don't even know if it's a he. It might be a she. I don't know. Who knows? I mean, who knows? And Lulu is his other fanatical pastime. He or she or it, whatever, got to have more than one person to hate on. So it's also Lulu. So we'll go into that later because I'm not going to let him or it or whatever it is screw up our co-burger time together, because this is much more important than a Max Smith will ever be. But I will say this, Max, because I know you're out there listening, but I also know you heard me and Lionel's when I did say that I offered Lionel to go on his panel and have a discussion with you. So there's my challenge to you. Let's go on Lionel's panel. We can both be adults and be respectful, and we can air out. I can't promise we can work out, but we can air out our differences. And Lionel can host that, and I think he will do a fair job with it. So there you have it, Max. There you have it. See, I've offered to other people to come on my panel and have a discussion with me. And I heard something like this. Why the hell would we go on panel just to be fucking bashed and not be able to talk? Well, obviously those people that I've offered to come on panel and have a discussion about our differences, they really don't know me, because I completely let people speak on here. I shut my mouth. I have shut my mouth for periods of time, like 6, 7, 8 minutes, and just let panel go and have a talk, as long as they're not talking over each other, because nobody needs to hear all that, because you can't hear it. And I know how to be an adult. So never am I inviting somebody up here just to bash them. I mean, you're capable of making yourself look like a fucking idiot without me doing it for you. All right, so let's get to this. Miss Barbara, I did not want to put your business out there, but since you said it, that means I can say it. Remember when I was asking everybody, has anybody seen Miss Barbara? And I was in like a frenzy because I hadn't seen Miss Barbara. Come to find out, and Barbara, did you ever get my reply back to you? Because the minute I got your message, I sent you an email right back. But anyways, yeah, Miss Barbara was hacked, you guys. Thank you, Lindley. Somebody needs to be the naked bushes police. Miss Barbara got hacked, you guys. Her phone got hacked. Her credit card or her debit, one of the two, got hacked. And I mean, she was in a mess. She had a lot of legwork that she had to do to get that situation taken care of. And there were people spending a lot of her hard-earned money. I'll resend it, Barbara. I'll copy and paste it and send it back over to you and see if that works. Spending a lot of her money. So hopefully the bank has got all that worked out for her and that she got her money returned to her, because people are assholes. I don't dig it. I don't dig it. But anyways, so that's where Miss Barbara has been, you guys. She's been in a tiz, and I would be in a tiz too, but I would just hand it all over to Beefcake. But I didn't know about Miss Barbara, or I would have had Beefcake go to Miss Barbara and figure it all out, and then I would go beat someone's ass. So, hey, you Max Smith, keep your wandering hands to yourself in those bushes. I'm watching you. That's right. That's right. All right. Let's jump right into it. You guys, I'm just going to put it out there that no, I'm not a professional in any sense of the word, but I play one on YouTube. And all of us are completely blessed and honored that we actually do have people with credentials that hang out in this channel. And I rack their brains when I need to. And we do have a former FBI agent here. We do have a former, I don't even know what they call them, someone that worked in a funeral home as a funeral director and knows a lot about deceased bodies. So I'm not in this alone, you guys. And everything I've done, you can listen to me talk. I'm not reading shit. I don't have a script, damn it. I wish I did sometimes. I'd probably be more interesting. Hi, Wild Angel. But it's all my own research. If I wanted to, I could put on screen other creators and just keep stopping it every minute to interject to what they're saying. That's not what I'm doing here. It's not what I'm doing. I will bring up court cases. I will bring up news reports. I will bring up family members who have given interviews, because that's coming straight from as reliable as we can get. So nothing scripted here. Wish it was. I would probably sound more professional, but I'm just a leanie. I can't do anything outside of being a leanie. Lulu is a funeral director, dead people extraordinaire, just in case you don't know that. And our own JB is a retired 20-year FBI agent. So suck on that, Max. I wanted to bring this up for you guys. Just as a reminder. Because I've been trying to go through interviews from the very beginning again to find out where me and there were two other ladies in chat. I think one was, I don't even want to try to remember because I don't want to offend anybody, but there were two other people in chat that said they absolutely heard in the beginning that a surviving roommate, Bethany, had run out of the house with the phone in her hand on 911 and had passed out in the yard or in the front of the house, and because there is no yard there, in the front of the house, and somebody picked up the phone to continue to talk to 911. And yes, there were several people that did talk to 911, but so I was trying to find that where it was said. I haven't been able to find it yet, but I'm telling you, I know it, and other people have seen it as well. So if you know where that interview is, it was either the Chapins, Ethan's parents, who said it, or it was the Goncalvises who said it. If you guys find that, please send it to me. I'd be forever grateful for it. No, we didn't read that account. We're reading the way that the 911 call is being put out is that they are all inside the house. That's the way it's reading. Now I will say this. Let me just go ahead and tell you, because I don't mind dropping names, you guys. I'm not looking to become this huge star on the internet. to where I don't want to drop other people's channels or names because I'm scared that I'm not going to get to where they are. No, I don't have a problem dropping names. Um, I'll never be who they are, and I don't want to be. Okay. So I did watch last night for the first time in this case. I got I put in some stuff on the internet and I got linked to the Drunk Turkey Show. Now I have seen the Drunk Turkey Show before I ever had a channel. When I was looking for a place to go, people to see. And it wasn't my jam. Just like I'm probably not his jam. But it wasn't my jam. But his title got me. And so I went in and apparently, I don't know if you guys have heard, but apparently there are creators out there that have the whole 911 call. Remember when I told you guys when we were reading the 911 call, I said, none of this is making sense. So it's telling me that it's heavily redacted because some of the things that they're saying would not be an answer or a question or a follow up to anything that's said in the next line. So you could tell that it's redacted. So there were two people that I saw that talked about having heard or have in their possession the original whole 4 minutes and something seconds 911 call. The Drunk Turkey Show has it. He says he has it and he will release it when he feels like it's time for it to be released. I respect him for that. And then I heard that Gray Hughes. Now I thought the way that Gray Hughes worded it was that he actually had the call, that he had the whole 4 minutes of it. But at the end of his short that he did on it, he said something about listening to it, listening or something like that, which made me believe that he has just heard it from somebody else and but that it's not in his possession. So I'm just letting you guys, I'm telling you, within a week, someone's going to release it. Someone's going to release it, and it's a little over 4 minutes long. Right, Lizzo. Gray Hughes saying he heard it. Yeah. But apparently Drunk Turkey has it. He filed a petition for it and he got it. Now those cost a lot of money, y'all. I ain't got the money for that. I'm trying to pay StreamYard. And my other thing is that I don't have to be the first to report on it. You know what I mean? Like I don't have to have it first so that I could put it out there first. It's not what it's about to me. So what I'm saying is, in my belief, within a week, someone somewhere is going to release it and we're going to see it. And then it's going to make a lot more sense. If you go on Gray Hughes and you go on the Drunk Turkey Show, they are reading it. So you kind of get a vibe for it, for what's going on there. And also the way they read it is a vibe. You know what I mean? Because I think the way that I would read it, or the way that I've read the 911 that has been released to the public already, I'm very animated. So I read it like how I would feel, that kind of thing. I get goosebumps. I just get in my feels, and that's the way I read it. So I think when you listen to somebody read it, you get their vibe for it. And so you work off that vibe. That's why I always tell y'all, whatever I put out or anybody else puts out, go read it for yourself and get your own. How do you think it's? Because, words are words. We can read things. 5 people could read the same damn thing and get 5 different things out of it. Right. So when it comes out, we'll do a live on it. And I will post wherever we got it from. And I really would like you guys to read it everything that even I'm putting out, read it for yourself so you can determine your own feeling on it. Okay, so I have not found the clip that I'm looking for yet. I'm going to find it. But until then, I went back over this one clip, and we have heard quite a bit about the girls, right? We've heard, you know, the girls' family, especially the Gonsalves family, they have done, quite a bit of interviews. Um, and I feel like we know the girls and their families in a different way than we know Ethan's. Ethan's family is very, very, what seems to be private. Mama is being a mama bear, and we've not heard from the other two triplets yet. I think after the trial's over, maybe when there's some more healing done, maybe they will write a story or talk about their story or whatever. But I can't imagine losing my sibling like this, much less a twin or a triplet or, a multiple. So Mama Bear's being a mama bear, and she is speaking for the family. And she's not letting a lawyer doing it. She's not letting a family spokesperson. I mean, she is the voice of it. And I understand that. I don't think that I would be the voice for my family, because I know when I've gone through some really traumatic stuff in my life with family members, um, my husband and my oldest sister, Dawn, they were the ones speaking for me and for my family, because I couldn't do it. I couldn't speak the words. So I do think it's good that there's, if you've got some kind of trauma going on in the family and people just want to know your, loved ones and friends and people who just know you that want updates or whatever, it's good to have somebody who can give those truthful updates to you about what's going on. And the only difference is there is a gag order in this case, and they're private people, so they're not going to say a whole lot. But um, I wanted to go back to the first interview that the Chapins gave, to see their view of what happened that day, because they talk about that day going back and picking up the surviving two triplets. Okay, so let's do that. Thank you guys for being here. If you don't mind hitting the like for me, I appreciate it so much. And that's all I ask. Just hit the like or the unlike, or just hit one of them. Do what you do, and I appreciate that so much. Let me pull this up really quick. Well, first, we need to drop, if we don't, mods, if you don't mind, if you could drop the copyright in chat, I will float that banner. Copyright Disclaimer Act of 1976 gives allowance for this content to be used for the purposes of criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. And we are also putting our disclaimer in chat as well. Also, just a heads up to those that may be sensitive to this type of topic and this type of content, a trigger warning to those. Please protect yourself. If you don't like hearing about murders and everything that entails with that, please exit and come back and see us next time. We don't do true crime every time I'm on. We only usually do it on Wednesdays and Thursdays, and every other time that I'm on, we do stupid shit. So, but it's funny. So, thank you for dropping the disclaimers in chat, and please protect yourself, as this will be your only trigger warning. I don't sugarcoat what I talk about. So the words that I use are just straight out words. And it's not to be disrespectful, but the way I give it to you is the way that I want it given to me. I want the cold, hard truth and the facts. And so that's who I am. That's the way I present things. And so if that upsets you in any way, believe me, I want you to protect yourself, and I want you to no hard feelings at all. Okay. All right. Let me pull this up. really quick. I'm also, after we listen to this, I'm going to drop Lindley. We love doing stupid shit. You damn right. I'm going to drop the link after we view this right here, for anyone that wants to come up and have a Coburger discussion. Maybe what you have found, or want to know something about that maybe we can all rack our brains about. I don't know, whatever you want to talk about that has to do with Coburger. I would love to have you up on panel. Here we go. All right, this is coming out of King 5 Seattle. The extended interview of the parents of the slain University of Idaho student Ethan Chapin. You guys, this is 2 years old. That's one reason why I did like it, because it's going back in the early time frame of this where everything was still raw, and that we can hear snippets that either we hit, because we know a lot now. We know we don't know everything. We don't even know close to everything, but we know a lot now that we could look back on this and say, well, this is why, and or what they said was the truth, because we have the evidence now of it, right? All right, let's see. Here we go. I will have to stop. This is 10 minutes long, you guys. I will have to stop part the way through so I do not get a copyright on this. Here we go.
Can you first just tell me how you guys are doing?
That's a tough
That
question.
is a tough question.
It's not something you ever expect to hear, ever. Like the call we took from our kids who were there, and you just expect to outlive your kids. Honestly, I don't know. We're just trying to process it. It's not.
So I want to stop it right there and ask you guys, just please really listen to the words. You don't have to be sitting in front of a computer like me. You could put it up on your big screen, but I really want you to hear her words, because there's a lot in the words. Like just now, she said the call from her kids. So we know that these parents found out from one or both of the surviving triplets about their brother being killed.
Not a call that you think that you're going to have to speak with the funeral home directors and the FBI and have it hit national news. I mean, we're more concerned, Ethan was a triplet, and that's a big thing. There's a couple of things. Ethan was a triplet, and that's the most important thing for us, because we have these other 2 kids that are very impacted by this, and they need to be lifted up and cared for. And I think the other thing that's important to us is the reason why we've agreed to do this is, number one, you're local. And number 2, it's important for us to get Ethan's story out. We don't really want anybody else representing him. And it's hard to have people speaking on his behalf. So
We talked in the earlier, some of the lives that we've done on Coburger Wednesdays, that Ethan's parents finally came out and said, because Mr. Goncalves was actually doing all the interviews and he was speaking on behalf of all 4 of the students. I don't think he was meaning anything malicious by it, or he was just trying to include that there were 4 victims in this crime. We know that there are 2 surviving victims as well, but 4 deceased victims in this crime. And the family came together and just asked, let us talk about Ethan. And that is why, if you go to the later interviews with Steve and Christy Goncalves, they don't speak so much on Ethan or even Xana. They just speak on Maddie and Kaylee.
So we think it's best for us to do this.
And you did say, of course, that he was a triplet, and looking through the pictures, like you said, they seem to be always together. I mean, did they all go to high school and then college together also?
Yeah.
Elementary,
Yeah.
high school, everything, college, they all went to the same university. Yeah, I mean, everything. We travel, we play, we hike, everything we do is all of us together. I mean, we're a pretty tight family.
Did you say that they were the ones that called you about this happening?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then are you guys all back together now?
We are.
Yeah, we're in our home in northern Idaho, our summer home. We're gonna be here for a couple days, just to regroup a little.
And can you just tell me a little bit about Ethan? I think I was told he was very athletic. I think he played, was it basketball and tennis or basketball? Just tell me a little about his interests. What did Ethan like to do?
Anything.
He
You
play
name
anything.
it, he played it, literally. I think we just watched a thing from the university, spike ball champion, volleyball champion. I mean, right? I mean, he just literally would play and do anything. He played club soccer for years. Played, we traveled, all of our kids are athletic and we traveled every weekend and he was involved in anything. He just literally, he was, I don't know.
He just loved to play everything.
He did.
All
He
the
loves
sports.
sports. I mean, our love language with him was sports. Like I literally watched, I follow like NFL football so that I can literally have a conversation with Ethan because I could, send him a text message and, that was I don't know, just everything. I don't know, that and country music. I mean,
Yeah.
He's funny. He literally, we were trying to have a conversation really quickly about our favorite memory. We can't come up with one. I mean,
Y'all, every time I watch this, because there hasn't been many times that the dad has been on camera, I can't help but stare at his face the whole time I'm listening to her talk. There's it's a different kind of a sadness in his eyes that maybe it's a father-son thing that I'm not saying mom isn't hurting. That don't get me wrong. We carry these babies under our heart. And I can identify with that more. I cannot identify with the father's love. And so looking at his eyes, I somehow want to make this right for him. It is just watching there's something about, I've learned so much about a father's grief just by watching this guy. I don't know why.
he literally lit up every room, everybody. He was friend to all. He was an incredible human. I mean, one of a kind, popular. I mean, not that that matters, but I don't know. I think we believe that if you literally ask anybody in his life, anybody, they would tell you the same exact thing. I mean, I just got an email from his counselor at college, and he just said, I love that kid the minute I met him. He literally walked in my office last week, and it was just simply to say hi. He had a huge smile. The whole, the feeling inside of the office changed just because he walked in. He always had something funny to say. That's been something we've talked a lot about. I mean, he was definitely the comedian of the three kids. He kept us all, I mean, we have the funniest videos of him.
He's the kind of kid that everybody wanted to be around. He was just a good kid
He's a good kid.
that
Kind to all.
didn't deserve what happened.
No. Well,
And wasn't he going to school to study? It was something to do with sports, wasn't it?
sports management, I think. I don't know the technical title of it. But yeah, I mean, we told him he should go be a teacher and a coach. I mean, he was incredible the way he worked with kids, and he refereed youth basketball on the weekends in Mount Vernon. I don't know, he touched a lot of people. I mean, it's the amount of support that seen so far has been incredible. Right? Our neighbors, everybody. It's incredible. I mean, we have messages from people that just are like, I knew him and he was incredible. Our daughter knew him and all she talked about was how great he was. I mean, it's a huge loss. We were at Parents Weekend last weekend with them, and Jim and I left that weekend. And as we pulled out of Moscow, we literally were like, we've done it. We've literally done it as parents. We've created 3 incredible humans that will go on and have something great to offer to this world. Honestly, all 3 of them. We literally had a conversation that we will no longer have to worry about these kids because we did it.
What way, people can support you guys right now?
It's an interesting situation because in all of your hardships in life, whatever you're going through, there's always like an outcome, like you get through it, right? Like, I don't know, whatever it is. This is something you wake up and you realize it's never going to go away, and it's very different. It's a very different. 2 a.m. is a dark hour. I can tell you that. We're all.
I want to stop it right there because let me jump back and chat. That 2 a.m. where she says 2 a.m. is a dark hour is always going to be a dark hour. I know for a fact a lot of people have taken that 2 a.m. is going to be a dark hour that she said in the literal sense, meaning that something nefarious was happening at 2 a.m., not at 4 a.m. Y'all, stop it. Just stop. Sometimes things are very literal, what they say. Sometimes things are just words. Like people sometimes call the 2 a.m. hour that have not lost children to a terrible murder. They call it the witching hour. For me, I will tell you, for me, my anxiety is the worst. And this is, I don't like talking about me or my problems, but I will tell you, most nights, my anxiety is at its worst anywhere between 11:30 on. Now I realize it gets better as I come online because y'all get my mind off it. If I'm not online, then there are a few people that I talk to that late in the evening that probably don't know that that's why I'm talking to them, is because I am struggling with crippling anxiety here. I can't move, can't think, can't speak, scared to death. So the 2 a.m. hour, I know she is just using that as the middle of the night hour. Okay. Doesn't mean that something nefarious was happening at 2 a.m. Even just last week, recently, I saw someone say, it was either in our chat or on a Reddit post or something, but Stacy Chapin said the 2 a.m. hour. Y'all, she's just talking about the middle of the night. Let's just face it, even when you're sick with a cold or the flu or whatever, it's always worse at night. Doesn't matter if you're struggling mentally or physically. The nights are the hardest to deal with, especially if you have some sort of anxiety. Nights are the hardest. So let's just stop with it. She said 2 a.m. something was going on. The police got it all wrong. No, they don't. No, they don't. She didn't get a call at 2 a.m., y'all. Nothing was going on at 2 a.m. Okay, she's just using that in reference that at 2 a.m., maybe at 2 a.m., she knew her kid was alive. Maybe at 2 a.m. is the last text message she ever got from her son. We don't know. But for me, I don't read it into that as anything nefarious was going on or the police got it wrong because she's saying specifically 2 a.m. I think she's talking about the middle of the night in general.
And I guess just during this time, like I said, you guys seem very tight knit. Are you just like, what's going forward look like for you? I know that's a hard question right now. I know it seems like you guys are really there supporting each other through this.
I think one of the first things that, like, when we got Maisie and Hunter, one of the first things, that came to me is that our life has literally taken a left turn. And I don't know how that's going to affect us, but we will not let this sink us or sink our kids. Because if anything, they have to go on and shine Ethan's bright light on their own.
I think that's all the questions I have right now, unless there's anything else you guys wanted to add.
Kids, do you want us? Our kids are here watching. Do you guys have anything you want to add? Hunter, Maisie? He was their number one, and that's going to be a hard loss for both of our kids. Both Maisie and Hunter. I mean, he was kind of each of their number one. So it's going to be hard just for the three of them without him now that they're two. We've gone from 3 to 2, and it's going to be hard for the two kids to figure out how to live life when you've spent 20 years as 3, and now they have to figure out how to be 2 and carry, I don't know. It's terrible. It's important for us. The reason we've agreed to do this is there's some misinformation out there, and that's been hard for us. And that's why we, as a family, talked about it and agreed to do this, because the things that are being said are 100% not true. There's not drugs involved. There's not some weird love triangle. Ethan stayed the night at his girlfriend's house, who was one of 5 girls who lived in the home. And it's just important that people let the criminal part of it try to work itself out, and that these kids, all of the kids were just really good, great kids. So, the light of the school, everybody knew them.
One of them, I believe, was his girlfriend was also killed. Is that correct?
Yes, Xana. Yeah, they were in the same room.
And I think that's all the questions I have, but I really do appreciate you guys sharing more about Ethan so we can understand more about him and share more about him with, Western Washington and the community here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right. There you go. Hi, Digital Maniac. What do you guys think? Jay Brad says, I have the anxiety at 3 too. That's creepy at Lizzo. Did Lizzo say Lizzo? Yeah, for me, it's 3 a.m. You can't sleep. Yeah, it's the witching hour. It is. Lulu says 3 a.m. is a very well-known time for anxiety for many people. Christ was crucified and died at 3 p.m. It is said that 3 a.m. is the time of evil spirits counteracting the time of redemption. I believe that. I've talked to a lot of people who struggle with anxiety and depression, and the common denominator in all of it is for the most part that I've seen, unless you're able to work, hold a job outside. The common denominator is those nighttime hours. One of my identical triplet brothers died. Oh my gosh, Joni! One of my identical triplet brothers died. It was so hard on the other 2. It was hard for all of us, but the boys especially bonded. Wow, Joni, I did not know that you had triplet brothers. Wow. Thank you for sharing that. I'm so sorry to hear about one of your brothers. That's what I mean, you guys. I mean, I have siblings. I cannot imagine, having a twin or a triplet or a multiple, and because you have to feel like you literally are a part of something else, someone else. And for that part to be taken away, I mean, it's hard just losing a sibling altogether. It's just hard. But I can't imagine sharing a womb and then sharing, because I believe there's bonding in the womb, not just with the mother, but who else is in there. And then sharing everything through your life until the part of one passing away. It's mind-boggling to me. It's so sad. Thank you, Joni, for sharing that. Lindley has twins, and she says, my twins have such a special bond that hits my heart. It hurts your heart. I can't imagine. You guys know my bio dad, who I've been blessed enough to get very, very close to. He's an identical twin as well. And so everybody goes through shit, right? Everybody goes through shit. And I go through shit. And there's a couple things that are seriously going on in my life, and I haven't said anything because other people are facing so much that I didn't want to add to their stress, and I didn't want my problems to overpower what's going on in their life. I mean, they had shit they had to concentrate on. And so there's stuff I haven't said, but I will tell you one of the things that I'm facing is that my biological father's twin brother is so they've all got skin cancer, right? They're very fair like me. That's where I get it from. And my dad gets skin cancers cut out, oh God, probably every 3 months. Well, his twin was told last month that there was nothing else that they could do. And they had cut as deep as they could go into a couple places on his body that has the skin cancer. And so, I mean, nobody knows what the real outcome is because a lot of people don't ask the right questions. They're scared to find out the answer, so they won't ask the questions that the rest of us want to know, like, well, how much time are they giving you? Well, what's the next step? Well, they don't ask none of that. They just accept to accept and remain blissfully ignorant to what's really going on. And I'm not like that, but I have family members that are like that. I'm very like, tell me everything. I don't care how good, how bad it is. I need to know because I have to work on myself to get through this. You know what I mean? Like, having something sprung on you is bad enough, but when you are dealing with anxiety and panic and, those things that we deal with, having something sprung on you is the worst of the worst for me. If you tell me in advance, look, this is what we're looking at in the next few months, then you can never prepare, but you can prepare a reaction. Whereas if it's sprung on you and something happens, then you have Lainey who has the freak out mode that I'm tearing shit up and I'm jumping in my truck and I'm just driving to God knows where or what. It's a whole thing. And I worry about, I'm sad. I'm so sad for them because, they are 78 years old. They've lived 78 years. These two call each other every morning, wake each other up. They're the last people, for the most part, unless I call late, that they talk before they go to bed at night. They call each other. During the day, they're calling each other. They're very, very, very close. And I'm so worried about what it's going to do to my dad, you know, when his brother, God forbid, his brother leaves before him. I mean, these people, these two were so close, you guys. They married cousins. They married first cousins, and I just I don't know what to do. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I don't know if I'm supposed to run. It's just a lot. But talking about Coburger, but I'm just saying that the whole twin thing, I get it more now than ever because I'm watching it in my own family happen. I was raised with two brothers who I was told were my identical twin brothers. I knew better, but that's, so I watched that happen. My sister's got twin grandchildren, and so twins run everywhere with us. And I've got identical twin nieces from my bio father's side. And I mean, death is hard enough, but I feel like they're connected in a different way than I am to my regular siblings. So there's that. But back to this. I can't imagine. I just can't imagine. I can't imagine. It would kind of be like maybe have your arm, at the wrist cut off so you have to learn to write with if you're right-handed, you have to learn to write with your left-handed, and it all looks jibbled and it doesn't feel good in your hand and you don't know how to hold the pen and it's a total, that must be likened to it. Digital Maniac said, I've had skin cancer removed from my back. Prayerfully, it won't return. Well, I will be praying for you as well. Hello, Sipping On. Thank you for being here. Squashed fig used topically cures skin cancer, supposedly. I think this is what I will tell you this, and then I'm going to get off the subject of my family. It was sent to me the other day because you guys know that I found my bio dad through DNA, and we're coming up on 6 years of me finding my bio dad, and me and him are very close. It feels just like I've known this man. He's been my dad my whole life. And so my sister, my half sister from him, sent me this thing that because my identical twin, my father married a cousin of his identical twins, that in our DNA, even my first cousins look like brothers and sisters. She brought it up on her because, of course, after they found me, everybody's doing DNA now, right? So she was looking through her DNA matches and stuff, and it looks like our first cousin from the other identical twin. It looks like we're brother and sister. Isn't that fascinating? What identical twins do? Because they share the exact same DNA. Exact same. So say people ask me, well, then how do you know that one's your father and not his twin? Well, I know because I trusted them and I trust their word. And also because my bio dad was not married and his twin brother had only been married like 3 months when I was conceived. And my bio dad was a hooch like my mom. So they were out hooching it up. And I'm pretty sure I know exactly where I was conceived. just by his stories and things like that. And it was a one night stand, and we would have probably had a problem if I had come 2 years prior. But because of when I did come, I know it to be him. So, but if you look at our DNA family tree, all the cousins that came out of the identical twin brothers, we all look like brothers and sisters. It's the oddest thing. Check it out. Idaho 4 is fascinated. Well, welcome, Sippin' On. I hope you stick around. We do Coburger Wednesdays on every Wednesday. And then Thursday, we just go over stuff that we've talked about before. We answer questions. We talk about what maybe somebody else's theory, speculation. We try to stay as factual as possible, and if we're just given a theory or an opinion or whatever, we state it as such. I'm going to drop the link. Anybody is welcome to come up here and have a discussion if you would like. I would like you to do that. Let me drop this link right here. Somebody take the link and let's talk about it. I know it's late for Lizzo, but if she still wants to come, she can. No, Lizzo has been deep diving as well, this case, because Lizzo started watching it like the rest of us when it first came out. And then, it sat on the back burner, and she was doing other cases because her and her daughter, Beth, they do true crime. And then as the Coburger came lit on fire again, Lizzo has been trying to re-get in there and familiarize herself with the case again. So I appreciate that. So good to see you. Thank you guys for being here. All I ask you to do, I ask nothing else. We hit the thumbs up or the thumbs down, whichever's your preference. Do that. And I appreciate that. I want to show you guys something else. This is something we've never talked about again. I want to ask, hold on just a second. Yeah, I want to ask Digital Maniac or anybody else in chat. I was reminded of this last night. I forgot all about it. Do y'all remember? And I went looking today. I'm telling y'all, I went looking today for it, and I can't find it. But do you guys remember that one of the things that they said that they collected out of the house in Pennsylvania was at first it was reported that there were 2 ID cards. Recently, it's being said it was only 1 ID card that was in a glove. I think it was a plastic glove inside of some kind of box in the house that they collected. Yes. Thank you, Lizzo. An ID in a glove. I had forgotten all about it. I forgot all about it. So when I saw that again yesterday, I was like, holy shit, I forgot about it. Do you guys know that if the ID that they have that was found at his house belongs to one of the victims, y'all, all of those pro-burgers out there or people that believe he's innocent, I want to hear what they have to say. I want to hear. Would that change it? I want to know. Let's look at this. I found something on it. Let's look at this. Copyright disclaimer again, y'all. This is not my work. Copyright, Fair Use Disclaimer, Copyright Act of 1976 gives allowance for this content to be used for purposes of criticism, comment, news report, teaching, scholarship, and research. Let's take a look at this, you guys. And then what says you is what I want to know. Oh, wait, I gotta, hold on. Now this says only 27 seconds. I'm going to find the full thing on it. Let me turn on the sound. All right, listen to this. Tell me what you think.
We know the ID was supposedly found in a box in the house inside a glove at his parents' home, which is very interesting because it would seem as if he was secreting it or hiding the IDs that were listed. There is no explanation, honestly. There is nothing to explain how or why he would have this ID with him.
Let me stop that
President
right there.
Donald
How do I
Trump
stop this?
declared a-
Stop it.
President Donald Trump declared a
Stop it.
potential new target in his
Okay, hold on. Let me go back over here. Listen, I don't know whose glove it is. They haven't said anything. We haven't seen it in none of the reports that I can find yet. It must be on some report because this was found back in 2023. It was being reported on, and then suddenly it just kind of fizzled out and went away because they've been fizzled out with me. And I thought I'd been watching everything. If it is true that it's one of the 4 victims who are not alive anymore, I think that's case closed. If it belongs to anybody else, I don't care who it is, the surviving roommates, somebody at his school. First, I'd be curious to know, is it one of a female? Because remember, we talked about how a lot of killers will take a souvenir. Remember the girls were out that night? You guys remember that? The girls were out at the corner club that night, so they were in a bar. Let me tell you what Leanie does, and maybe you do too. Sometimes when I go in a bar, I'll just slip, especially when I was partying all the time. I didn't bring my purse in. I put my ID in my back pocket. And then when you go through, you have to show your ID to get into the club. At the club. I'm sorry, I almost started dancing to club music, but I'll refrain. Boots with the fur. Okay, let me stop. Anyways, the girls went to the corner club. On the video of them walking back from the corner club to the grub truck, and at the grub truck, I don't remember seeing not one of them have a purse on them. Not a fanny pack, not a purse, not a crossover. Y'all, they have to be carrying an ID. I mean, they're carrying an ID. Where was their IDs? So my question to you is it possible when they came home, when they went upstairs, the first thing they did was grab what's out of their pockets, put it on their dressers or their makeup stands or whatever. And then whenever the perpetrator goes in and does what he did, sees the ID, grabs it, sticks it in his pocket, and takes it with him for a souvenir. I can see that as being plausible. We won't know till court, but I think it's something that we have to consider. Now let's look at it this way. Even if that ID has absolutely nothing to do with the house. Now you will find old IDs here, you guys. You will find if you go over there to my junk drawer, I think might be an old license in there from Beefcake or from myself, or there's stuff, right? In places. So it could have been an old ID. Let's give Brian Koberger the benefit of the doubt that this is one of his old IDs. Why he would hang on to his mom or dad or sisters is beyond me, and I really just don't think that he would. So let's just go to him and let's give him the benefit of the doubt and say, well, it was Brian Koberger's old ID. No big deal. Everybody has an old ID in their house. But do we put him into a glove, into a box up somewhere? Are you doing that? Because if you are, that's suspicious as hell. Okay. I'm pretty sure it's safe to say that every upstanding citizen of the world is not going to put their own old ID in a glove, in a box for secure reason. So that benefit of the doubt is taken off the table because that makes no sense. Okay. I'm no expert here, as Max likes to point out, but I use common sense. That makes no sense. If it does not belong to anybody at the 1122 King Road house, surviving roommates or deceased roommates, or Ethan Chapin, whose is it? Would that be considered stalking? Would you be concerned if you found out it was your child's ID, girl or boy, in a glove, in a box, in his house? What would be the reason to put someone's ID in a glove, in a box, in his house? Suspicious. That makes no sense. So I'm going to be watching, eyes peeled, y'all. I'm going to be all over that like hot shit to find out whose ID it is and why. Because if it doesn't have anything to do with the King Roadhouse, and it does belong to somebody who does not live with Brian Koberger, then I think we need to look at past history and some unsolved crimes. Again, could be a trophy. That's exactly right. Let me go back and read this to you. An ID card connected to the murder of 4 University of Idaho students. Now, this is saying an ID card connected to the murder of the 4 University of Idaho students was reportedly found when authorities searched Brian Koberger's home. All right, Newsweek, listen, we're taking your word for this. Don't be reporting no nonsense to me because it'll piss me off. Koberger, then a graduate student at Washington State University, was arrested at his parents' home in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania on December 30th. He has yet, now remember, this was published on April the 11th, 2023. So this is just not even 4 months after his arrest. So everybody's just gathering information right now, what they see, what they hear, what they know. If anybody finds it in one of the search warrants, please let me know. So at this point, he had yet to enter a plea. We know that he stood. He standed on the plea, meaning that the judge was going to have to enter. Why he did that, I don't know. Why didn't he just plead not guilty? I mean, what was the reason for not putting in a plea? At that point, when your lawyer says we're going to stand on the plea, meaning, Judge, you go ahead and put it in that he's not guilty. I don't understand that line of thinking or why people do that, but they do it, and he did it. According to court documents unsealed last month, so they're out there. I just have to go back over, because remember, all of the documents that I've been sharing with you guys so far is coming out of Ada County. Idaho. In order for me to get the documents from this timeline, I have to go to Latah County. So just in case you're doing your own research, you are working with two different jurisdiction counties, right? So you've got everything that's gone on since he's been moved to Boise. All the other stuff that happened pre-Boise, you're going to have to go to Latah County, and there's a lot more records there. I think there's actually 2 years of records there, so it's a lot. And I just got over to the first page of it, so that's why I think I haven't found it yet, but I'm going to find it. According to court documents unsealed last month, ID cards inside a box were among the items police seized during a search of Koberger's parents' home in Albrightsville. News Nation reported that an ID connected to someone from the home where the slayings took place was found during a search. In an appearance on News Nation, former FBI agent Coffindaffer said that the ID in question was found concealed in a glove in a box. A lot of people, when they read this, I will tell you, thought that they were talking about the glove box in the car. They were not. So if you hear someone saying that, it's not true. That's not what this says at all. Reread, because it says ID cards inside a glove, inside a box, were amongst things police seized during a search of Koberger's parents' home. In an appearance on News Nation, got that already, and she says, if you go to the search warrant return, sure enough, there are these IDs. Now that is saying IDs, IDs, that were concealed in a glove in a box. So there's two different things here. News Nation is saying ID. Coffindaffer is saying IDs. She says, now this is just unusual. Most people don't keep IDs again, hidden in this fashion. So to me, it was something that certainly corroborated the source information and seemed suspect from the beginning. Coffindaffer said it's not clear who the ID card now. She's saying they're saying ID again. Listen, I'm going to need you guys to get this right. I need clarification. Coffindaffer said it's not clear who the ID belonged to, but if it was one of the murder victims, then it could be a smoking gun. Here's what I have a problem with. Maybe you guys don't care. I care. First, this is all misleading. This whole ID and IDs thing is misleading. Then the statement right here is totally misleading. Coffindaffer says it's not clear who the IDs belong to, but if it was one of the murder victims, then it could be a smoking gun. Now let's go back up here where it says smoking gun evidence found in Brian Koberger's home. You can't have it both ways. Can we just write and produce and put out there just the facts? Because now we got two different stories going on, that there were in one article, two different stories, that there was an ID, which means one, or there were IDs, which means more than one. It is said that this is a smoking gun that was found in Koberger's Pennsylvania house, and now it's saying if it was found, then it's a smoking gun. Listen, do better. You guys have the credentials. Can we please do better? You've already got a following. You don't need more clicks and views. I'm out here. I'm going to put it out, but I'm going to call you every fucking time you mislead me. It's super strong, especially when you combine it with the sheet that was found next to Matty Mogan with his DNA on the clasp. Coffindaffer has been contacted for further comment. Michael McAuliffe, a former federal prosecution and elected state attorney, told Newsweek that any items connected to the murders being found in Koberger's parents' home which is across the country from the scene of the crimes, would be significant, even damning. The report that the IDs, all right, were in a hidden box. Now they're saying the box was hidden. Where was it? Was it hidden? So was it in the back of the closet? Was it underneath a bunch of shoe boxes in the closet? Was it a shoe box that maybe had Nike printed on it? Make you think, because people do keep shoe boxes and keep their shoes inside those boxes. You freaking weirdos. You got too many shoes. Let's get rid of some. I say that because I was one of them weirdos. The reports that the IDs were hidden in a box or glove compartment. See, do you see what's happening here? Here we go. They're reporting this. This is so sad that they're reporting this. No wonder people are thinking, because I haven't read this. This is the first time I'm reading it too. That's why I'm having so much commentary on it, which usually I talk to myself about. But since you guys are here, I'll talk to you about it. This person says the reports that the IDs were hidden in a box or a glove compartment. Y'all, it don't say that. Where does it say it? So now we're just giving more junk. We're just muddying it. Muddy. If y'all knew how much my hands were flying around right now, I'm getting plenty of exercise here, being shitty about this. Could meet the standard, but we need to know the specifics. Right. McAuliffe said the IDs were only generally described on the inventory list for search, so the connection to the murders is unclear. So now I want to know, is it on an inventory list of things they collected or a search warrant list of things that, see, I got to go find it now, of things that they were looking for? Because on the search warrant list, it does list things that they are going in, to search, things that they are looking for. So have the two been, I don't know, I'm going to have to find it. Have the two been fuddied up where maybe it was on the search warrant that they're looking for anything that has to do with the 1122 King Roadhouse, and then, or was it actually on an inventory list that we found something, IDs? Well, we got to find out. Oh my goodness. But if the IDs is for one of the victims, it would match the importance of the defendant's DNA evidence being found on the knife sheath next to one of the victims at the scene. The potential information is tantalizing in its newsworthiness, but the gag order prevents it from being confirmed. Well, that's fine. I just need to find the documents. Eventually, the evidence will become public because the prosecutors have the burden to prove guilt in an open court before a jury. An attorney and former federal prosecutor agreed that the ID, now we're back to one, that the ID card would be a smoking gun evidence if it belonged to someone else who lived in the Moscow home. Well, no shit. We already know that. Kohberger's defense team will argue DNA was planted. They're already doing that, you guys. They're already muttering those waters. Or transferred. And that the cell site evidence does not put Kohberger at the scene when the murders happened. It will be more difficult for the defense to explain an ID that was transported thousands of miles away and hidden in Kohberger's parents' homes. Oh, here's the probable cause affidavit. Said the DNA found on the knife sheath connected to Kohberger to this crime. Okay, so there's the affidavit that talks about that. We've already read through that. Legal experts told Newsweek that Kohberger's attorneys may seek to sow doubt about the DNA evidence after it was reported that a sheath was sent out of Idaho to be tested by a startup in Texas. A judge in early January issued a sweeping gag order barring attorneys, law enforcement agencies, and others associated with the case from talking or writing about it. A preliminary, we already know because that's already all happened. What says you? Joni says, I've had the feeling that BK has done this before, just a feeling. I mean, if he hasn't done it before, I've got a feeling he would have done it again. And I've also got this feeling, you guys. If he had not left the knife sheath, some people are saying it's a calling card. I don't necessarily believe that. If he hadn't left the knife sheath, I think he would have got away with this. I really do. If they have found no more DNA evidence in that crime scene of Koberger, and the only DNA that we have is on the knife sheath of Koberger, I think he would have got away with it. It's clickbait. That's right, and that pisses me off. IDs. I bet it's the girls we haven't even heard of, but I bet they had stories to tell authorities about Koberger. Now, that's a good point, Digital Maniac. That's a good point. Because although I'm not quite sure if, he left the worst of the worst evidence he could have possibly left, other than licking a wall somewhere, right? I mean, he did the worst of the worst dummy thing, by leaving the sheath there. We already know about certain people that have come out of the woodwork, like the girl who said that she went out on one date with him after meeting on a social site. And then we've heard from people who knew him and talked about how he clearly had some kind of, and I don't want to call it weirdness going on, because I do believe that it's brought on by something chemical, not the killings. Do not mistake what I'm saying here. This has nothing to do with killing, because perfectly sane people kill people and perfectly unsane people kill. Okay? I'm not talking about that. What I'm saying is I don't like to call him a weirdo for having some kind of alterations in his person. I'm trying to be kind. Alterations in his personality or whatever. But we've heard these people say that there was some definite quirkiness going on with Brian Koberger as far as being social, some of the things that he would say, how he thought he was better than other people. He was smarter than even some of his teachers, things like that, right? How many others have you guys thought about it? How many others have spoken to the police that we don't know about that's had interaction with this man where he's creeped them out and did some really creepy shit? Um, I think we're going to hear that. I think we're going to hear from witnesses who we don't know anything about yet, that are going to say they had some interaction with this person, and all of their bells ringing in their head. Get away, get away, get away. Y'all, we're given that we are given that at birth. That's why they always say, watch a dog and watch babies. If a baby and a dog do not like a certain person that walks up to your door, or the baby doesn't want to be held by a certain person, or the dog is just sitting over there showing its teeth and kind of growling. You're having to get up. What is wrong with you? You never growl or do that to people. Listen to those babies and the dogs. Listen. Sometimes as we get older, we ignore those feelings of decisiveness and discernment that could very well keep us out of harm. We're given that. It's something we're born with, most of us. We need to pay attention to it, especially in today's world. That spirit of something's not right with that person. My spirit does not connect with that person. There's like, something's wrong. I don't know what, but I'm not staying to find out. Lindley says Jeffrey Dahmer is known to have collected and kept the IDs of his victims. There you go. Lulu says, how likely is it that BK would have been suspected if they didn't have the DNA from the knife sheath? Right. And had his car and phone pings, did they? Or did they find them after the DNA hit? Well, the car was put out prior to the phone. Maybe they would have eventually been able to click it together, but they would have known that they were looking for a white Hyundai Elantra. But unless they came up with some bigger evidence to serve an arrest warrant on him, how would they have gotten his DNA? Now, you could drink a soda, drop it in the trash can, and it's completely legal for the police to go over and collect your DNA or grab your can. It's done all the time. Because once you throw it away, it becomes public property. Good night, lunch lady. Thank you for coming. I appreciate you so much. Look at Musk, known to be one of the most intelligent men alive, just had something like his 14th child with a fifth woman, and she is going to take him to the cleaners. Intelligent doesn't always equal smart. That's right. And just because you're intelligent in one area doesn't mean you're intelligent in all of them. That's the truth. Hello, Rapper. Good to see you, honey. Digital Maniac says, I can't wait for his barber to take the stand. She cut his hair for months. Wonder what he talked about at the barbershop. Yeah. And that's one thing. Barbers and hairstylists, they're really good at helping you talk about yourself. Very good at that. I think it's part of the training. Shit. The ID cards were found inside a glove, inside a box. Right. Right. But a lot of people are saying that they think it was in a glove box in the car. No, it doesn't say that. So stop it. Stop it. I want to see. Give me just a minute, guys. I'm going to see if I could pull up. Let me see this. Hold on, guys. I want you guys to look at this. No, this one's not it. Okay, here we go. All right. This I really want to show you. I'm going to fast forward about, well, there's a lot going on here. So I'm going to let it play through. I'm going to stop it every now and then, of course, to talk on it. Please drop our copyright, because I don't want Crime Fix to get me. And this is worth watching. If you haven't seen this before, I think it's going to blow you away. You've heard me talk about it. Now I've got it. This is a body cam of Brian Koberger, not of Brian Koberger. Let me just say, it's a body cam from police, from two victims of a home invasion that they thwarted, a month before. Brian Koberger, that I believe, allegedly, no, I believe it. I'm going to say it. If people can say he's not guilty, I can say he's guilty. So a month before the murders, there was another home invasion type thing going on nearby Pullman, Washington, which is where he went to school, 8 miles away from where the 1122 King Road was. I would like to show this to you guys. Maybe some of you have seen it. If you've seen it, get up, go pee, do whatever you got to do, and just listen to it. Don't watch it. But this is very interesting stuff. All right, let me just make sure that this is fair use. This is from Crime Fix. Thank you for letting, well, you don't know that I'm using it, but if you find out, thank you. Rapper, thank you for coming and seeing me. Big hugs to you, Love Bug. I love you so much. All right, guys, here we go. This is interesting shit right here. We've talked about it before on here. Take a look. What do you think? Fair use disclaimer. Copyright Act of 1976 gives allowance for this content to be used for purposes of criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, and scholarship and research. And that's all we're doing, you guys. And YouTube and everybody else, for your information, no, we are not monetizing this, or any of our Koberger stuff is not monetized. That is turned off. So I'm not making any money off of anybody else's work or off of any of the victims. All right, let me make this as big as you guys could see it. Get myself off of there. Take a listen. Tell me what you think.
Brian Koberger is accused of murdering 4 University of Idaho students, but investigators looked at him for another case with eerie similarities.
As soon as I kicked them, they fell back into the closet and then just booked it out of my room.
I have the body camera footage and how Koberger ended up on the radar of police more than a year later. This is a law and crime legal alert. Did you know that children are being diagnosed with serious conditions like type 2 diabetes and non-alcoholic fatty liver disease? And research is potentially linking ultra-processed foods.
I'm just going to talk while she's talking,
Morgan
because
and
I don't
Morgan
want
is stepping in
to.
to fight to hold food companies
Let me get past this. There we go.
more.
No, come on. All right.
Brian Koberger is
Here we go.
charged with a terrifying crime, the murders of 4 University of Idaho students. And we've talked about the case many, many times here on Crime Fix. Koberger is accused of breaking into a home off campus in Moscow, Idaho in the middle of the night. It was November 13th, 2022. Maddie Mogan, Kaylee Gonsalves, Ethan Chapin, and Xana Kernodle were all stabbed to death. The brutality of this crime shocked the small town of Moscow, Idaho. No one could think of anyone who would want to hurt the 4 students. Kaylee had moved out of the house on King Road and was only back for the weekend to show off her new SUV and to hang out with friends. It would take some time, more than a month, but eventually Brian Koberger was arrested and charged with murdering Maddie, Kaylee, Ethan, and Xana. One piece of evidence that investigators said linked Koberger to the crime, a DNA profile they traced back to him. They found it on the snap of a K-bar knife sheath that was left under Maddie Mogan's body. Police also said that a surviving roommate saw a man wearing all black and a mask with bushy eyebrows walking through the house after she heard the sound of one of the roommates crying. Investigators have said that Koberger's white Hyundai Elantra was also spotted at the scene of the crime. Koberger had moved to Pullman, Washington, 10 miles from Moscow in the summer of 2022. Moscow and Pullman are basically one big community, 2 college towns linked by one road. Koberger was a PhD student at Washington State University studying criminology. His lawyers have said that he's innocent, and they plan to fight for him at his trial, which is scheduled for August of 2025. Now, shortly after Brian Koberger's arrest, police started looking at old cases to see whether Koberger might be linked. One of those cases was a burglary in Pullman, Washington. On October 10th, 2021, more than a year before the murders in Moscow, some young women living in a house in Pullman called police after one of them said a person with a knife came into her bedroom. A Pullman police officer's body camera recorded her describing exactly what happened.
So I have a couple questions for you.
Okay.
Where did you see this person?
I was asleep and
Okay.
then I woke up
Okay.
and it was just me and Sadie home at the time, and we both lived down in the basement, and my door was closed. I heard my door open and I looked over and someone was wearing a ski mask and had a knife like this.
Oh, okay.
And so I like kicked the out of their stomach and screamed super loud, and they like flew back into my closet and then ran out my door and up the stairs.
Okay. And that's the last you know as they ran up the stairs?
Yeah. And then
Okay.
when they got home, this back door was wide open.
Okay. How long ago did this happen?
Maybe 15, 20 minutes at most.
Okay. And so between the four of you, it's the whole house?
Yeah.
No one else is there?
What this young woman described is terrifying. The officers searched the house to make sure that it was safe and then brought the young woman back in and talked to the victim again. The video is redacted because it was recorded inside the house.
I really could not tell you if it was a guy or a girl.
Oh, okay.
When I first looked at them, I thought it was a girl. I mean, I only looked at them for a second, and then
So which room is yours?
this one.
So the victim offered some important information there. She said she couldn't tell.
Y'all, I've been talking the whole damn time. Son of a bitch. Let me get back to what I was saying. Hi, Haywood. The first thing I said was, does any of this sound familiar? Is any are any of your red flags going up? All right. That was the first thing I said. Second, I welcomed Haywood. Thank you for this comment. Question. I love it. Why didn't they charge him in the case then? This is what I want to say to that. So when Brian Koberger was investigated, we know that Pullman pulled up old case files. Pennsylvania pulled up old case files to see if there was anything that was unsolved yet that they could connect to Brian Koberger or to the case like this. If there's DNA or anything else that proves that, yes, this was Brian Koberger that did this home invasion crime, here's what I think. I'm not a lawyer, as Max Smith so eloquently puts out for me. But I think that if he is connected to this crime and it can be proven that he's connected to this crime, they would not indict him on this crime until this case is over. Now hear me, if these girls or this girl that's on this body cam has been called to testify that there in fact was somebody in her home and the DNA was found there, or there's evidence there to prove that it was Brian Koberger. So remember, there's a gag order. So if the prosecution has been able to prove that this was Brian Koberger that committed this crime, we don't know. Could have been somebody else. It sounds too familiar in too much of the same place. But if it was him and they can prove it's him, they're going to use that to corroborate that this is Brian. This is what he does. This is his MO. This is his thing. And then after they have given their testimony and all that, then I would think that charges would be brought against him to run concurrent with the charges. There's been a lot of cases out there, just like with other serial killers that we know of, that they're on death row waiting for their life to come to an end, and they give out information that there have been many other victims in their path and they've never been charged with those crimes. And the reason is more taxpayer money. They're already sitting on death row. They're already there's no way they're ever getting out of there except for by a hearse. So there's a lot of crimes, and victims' families get very upset about that their family member whose story has not been heard, they get very upset about that due to the fact that there has already been a case against them and they have already been found guilty. They're already on death row. You can't kill a dead man that's already dead. You know what I mean? So basically you're saving tax dollars. But I know it upsets a lot of victim families whose loved one was also killed by a perpetrator, but they never got to tell their story. That's a good question. Lulu, you never heard this before. Well, I did speak a little bit on it, but because I hadn't found the footage yet, I didn't want to make it, like factual yet. This is pretty factual. It's body cam footage. Sorry, I was in no sound. TLC is me. Big kisses. Hey, girl. Hey. Keeping that, the naked bushes in line up there. This girl would be in the discovery, though, surely, if she was going to testify. Agreed. But we don't know everything that is in discovery. We don't know everything. We don't know all of we're not privy to that. They don't have to tell us everything in discovery. They just have to tell the defense attorneys. They don't have to tell all of us the evidence they have against him. We're not privy to that. We're not going to be privy to it until trial. So they could be very well in the discovery of it. So, but we haven't seen all of the discovery yet. All right, let's continue. Thank you for being here. Thank you I love questions. I love now, I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying I'm wrong. I could be completely wrong, and I'm willing to be wrong. And I guarantee you, if I'm wrong, I'll fire up alive and tell y'all I'm wrong. I love people who make me think differently. So thank you for that. All right, let's go back to this.
Whether the person with the knife was a man or a woman. At this point, the student reenacted the encounter with the person who was in her room with the knife.
So I was sleeping right here, and I'm a really heavy sleeper, but I heard the door open.
Oh, okay.
And I saw someone, I saw the ski mask first, and I rolled over, and I was like, what the heck? And then they literally were like this.
Okay.
Me with the
So,
knife. And the knife.
Is this what the lighting was like at that point?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. This is exactly what it would have been.
Can you describe the knife for me?
It looked like kind of a smaller knife.
Okay.
Smaller knife. It wasn't like a huge like anything. It kind of looked like just like a smaller steak knife.
Okay.
And so yeah, I just rolled over and kicked them, and they fell back into the closet.
Y'all, please don't insult my intelligence by saying, well, that was a smaller steak knife. Wasn't a K-bar, so it wasn't him. We do know that in the documents that were filed as to what they confiscated out of his parents' house was also a different knife with a different sheath, along with some guns. So Brian overpowered Ethan and 3 girls in less than 15 minutes, but that girl scared him away with a ninja kick to the belly. I find that impossible. Yeah. I mean, listen, we can't say I'm not saying it was Brian Koberg. I'm telling you my red flags are going off that this kind of looks like the same scenario, and thank God she did wake up. Because she may not be here to tell about it. It may not be Brian. I'm just saying it's in the same area, the same place, the same middle of the night, the same young girls living in this house, the same uh, weapon type of weapon to be used. It looks the same. It feels the same. But like I said, I don't know. I don't know. Unless they can prove that it's him, then as much as you're saying it's not him, that's as much as I'm saying in this case of killing 3 girls and Ethan in a house that is him. You know what I'm saying? Just as you feel really concerned that maybe we're sending an innocent man into all this, I feel very, very, very strongly that I would bet a year's pay on it, to tell you the truth. And that's not much, but I would bet a year's pay that's how convinced I am that yes, Brian Koberger killed the 1122 King Road victims. Oh, Rapper, don't you be sorry, baby. You're okay. You know what? I understand you. You know that. When you're having good days, you come in here and you hang out with us and let us love all over you. When you're having bad days, just go have a bad day with someone else. But we love you here. And vegans using leather to protect their tabbies makes no sense either. I think I would have to talk to a vegan. I mean, come on. They gotta have somewhere to put the knife. Is he gonna buy a plastic something to put? I mean, I would imagine that a sheath comes with the knife. I don't think he was looking at that thinking, oh my God, they killed an animal to make that sheath. So, oh my God, I can't use that type of knife. I just don't think that's what he was thinking. Absolutely not. No, he needed a knife. I a firm believer that he would have used the sheath. Why wouldn't he? He's already bought it. I mean, it belongs to the knife, and they kind of go hand in hand. Joni says if he wasn't expecting her to kick, then it could have happened. Surprise attack from her. That's right. That's exactly right. You never know. She could have knocked listen, if she knocked the wind, have you ever had the wind knocked out of you? That's some scary shit for about 15 seconds. You never know if you're going to breathe again. All you're thinking is, I can't breathe. I can't take in one breath. Did he get the wind knocked out of him? And he took off because, God forbid, he wants to pass out there. Who knows? What does their tabbies mean? They're stabby. Oh, stabbies. Okay. Are you from America or are you from overseas? It's okay. Haywood, I say all the words. I say all the words. Gun is too loud. And listen, I don't know what you believe, and there is no. This is for anybody out there. I don't know if there is no evidence to say that Brian Koberger is an incel. Everything that's been put out of Brian Koberger, and I'm not talking about on other channels. I'm talking about my research, listening to the families talk, listening to people who knew him talk, looking at documents that's coming out of the court. Everything I see points to Brian being an incel. When you're an incel and you plan on taking revenge out on those who you despise, who you've learned to hate, i.e., young women, young girls, not young girls, young women, and you're not planning to kill yourself, it's a hate crime. What happens with hate crimes? Hate crimes are very personal. They're much more there's so much passion and energy that goes into those type of crimes that it's a personal thing. Using a gun to kill somebody, to me, is not as personal. Your hands literally are not taking someone's life. Using a knife or something in your hands that you mean to kill somebody with, bludgeoning, candlestick, anything like that, that is a hate crime. There's some kind of motivated passion there. And I'm not talking about a love kind of passion. I'm talking about a passion for hate, a passion for blondes, a passion for redheads, a passion for people with vaginas, a passion for whatever. It's hate. And so that's why I believe that he wouldn't have used a gun. Too many people around. There's people everywhere. He probably would not have gotten out without somebody being able to identify his car, at least. And he didn't plan to kill himself. A lot of people that use a knife, they plan on killing themselves, and that's the truth. Look it up. That bastard used leather. Kind of a vegan, is he? Rapper says his DNA matched the murder, I believe, right? Yes. Well, his DNA is found at the crime scene. He's been through a boot camp program, self-defense and all that. Well, I mean, that would help. You're from the U.S. Well, welcome. I'm from Indiana. Think you've been in here before. Hey, would you hug me? Oh, I just got it. I will hug you. I totally just got your name. Nerves can be a bugger of a thing. If it was his first attempt, his nerves may have gotten the better of him. Right. And that's why I think Dylan's life was saved. I think he went into, I got to get the hell out of this house. That tunnel vision, maybe possibly some visual snow again, because we've already pulled up what causes people to have that. Stressful situations are one of the reasons people claim to have visual snow. There was all this adrenaline going. I literally do not think he saw Dylan. I think if he saw Dylan, she would have been a dead girl. I do. It's crazy to approach a house with that many people with lights on is stupid. I agree. But listen, we're not dealing with a you or a me who actually thinks that it's a high probability I'm going to get caught doing that. They don't think like that. They think smarter than everybody else. Look at all these other serial killers, got away with it for years and years and years and years. And some have never been solved. Jay Barrett, Brad prefers knives. Using a knife shows rage. Yes. Cartel hits are hate crimes too. Agreed. Completely agree. But they're usually not personal as in to that person. Cartel hits are usually hits that are sent. So say I'm the mob boss and hey, yo, Haywood, I need you to go and take out this dude because he pissed me off, right? It's different. That's how the cartel does it. The leader of the cartel is not going and taking people out. He's got people to do it. So therefore, it doesn't make it a personal thing. They're just going to do it because their boss told them to do it. When you come in to kill somebody with a knife or something using your hands, it's a personal thing that has to do with you, not a gang of people. Makes sense. He's definitely a creepy looking dude. Exactly, way too many for one dude. The dude can't take one girl. No, it's just, I think that, I feel like that's a legitimate thought. You know, if he can't even get a girlfriend, how the hell is he going to kill 4 freaking people? Well, when he's killing people, they're not looking at any of his quirkiness, right? They're not they're not standing there having a conversation with them. They're busy trying to defend themselves, right? So they haven't heard his personality, seen his personality, all the weirdness to him, right? They haven't seen all that. They're busy trying to defend themselves. Now, it's already been shown and come out of the mouth, straight out of the mouth of a girl that he found on a dating site. She found him attractive. She went out with him and was totally put off. It was just like, ew, no. And so it's different when you're dealing with the killer aspect of a person than actually having dinner with someone and you have to have a conversation. So that's why he couldn't get a girl, because he had no person. Listen, you have to connect. You know, looks only go so far. You have to be able to have some kind of conversation and connect on that. If you can't do it, you're not getting another date and you're definitely not getting laid. Oh, it's your first time here. I must have seen you somewhere else then, but I like your name. I feel like he just wanted to kill and didn't intend to SA. Absolutely not. I don't think he meant to. He was not going in there to do that. No, no, no. How do I feel about Allen? I covered the case with Richard Allen. Did many lives on it, been to the crime scene. He's guilty as hell. And I said he was guilty as hell way before we ever found him. Neighbors, work colleagues, students, friends, partial victims. This trial is going to be so huge when all the people we've heard so far get to the stand. That's correct. They're saying at least 12 weeks now. It was at first 6 to 8 weeks. We're looking at a 12-week trial. I should probably go then, guys. I'm not here to troll. I just want to dip. And are you kidding me? You don't have to leave. Don't leave. Stay. We don't want you to leave. No. Listen, there's been people that haven't agreed that come in here all the time that don't agree with my way of thinking. And actually, they've taught me a few things that give me something else to think about. Here's the problem with people that I've met that don't believe Koberger to be guilty. And you have that right. And I will stand up every day of the week for your right for that, even if it goes against my beliefs. But here's the problem I have. People that come in here and say, He's not guilty, this, that, and the other. I'm like, can you please talk to me? Because I can give you 101 reasons why I believe Koberger to be guilty. I can't even get 5 reasons out of anybody to say he's innocent. So please, if you're out there and you believe this man to be innocent, I'm not going to jack you up. I'm not going to talk shit about you. You're not going to get trampled in my chat and made to feel little for your opinion. I love it. I love it. Somebody help me understand. TLC is me says, wonder why the knife was used in Delphi case. It wasn't a knife. It was probably a box cutter. That even came out of his mouth. Richard Allen also said that he did not go there to kill anybody. I believe him. He went there actually to sexually, essay somebody. But when the things turned out the way that they turned out, and the white van went by as soon as he had taken custody of the girls, it became a whole different thing. He got scared and he had no choice, he thought at that point, than to kill them because they could ID him. I think Alan is guilty. Just saw the 42nd bridge guy looks very short, just like Alan. Yes, I agree. And I mean, yeah, it's been put out there, you guys, the whole video. If you've not seen it yet, I could pull it up, and we could look at it. It's the whole video with audio. It's 43 seconds of Libby videotaping Abby and the guy behind her, and then yeah. So if you haven't seen it, it was released, and it broke my heart. All right, let's get back to this.
Oh, okay. Do you know if they would be taller or shorter than
They
me?
were shorter than you.
Oh, okay.
They would probably come to about like maybe here on
Oh,
you.
okay. So pretty short.
Yeah, they were pretty short. That's the one thing I noticed.
Thick, thin.
I couldn't say for sure, but I don't think either really side.
So you're saying like a ski mask, any glasses or lenses or anything?
Burgundy.
Oh, okay.
Pretty sure it was a burgundy ski mask. Yeah, no glasses.
Did you get a sense of eyes or skin tone or anything?
Not really. It was so fast.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. I'm just.
Yeah. I wish I remembered more.
The next day, police went back to the street and spoke with neighbors and others to see if they knew anything about what happened, including a neighbor the young woman said smoked outside.
Pullman police, search warrant, come to the door.
Then, about 8 days later, they returned to the neighbor's house looking for possible evidence. This was the apartment for the neighbor that sometimes smoked outside, and police had said another neighbor had filed a complaint against him for entering her apartment and watching her sleep several times. An officer also talked to the victim again.
Did you remember anything else about his appearance, the knife, anything like that?
I really didn't. I've honestly kind of remembered less ever since it happened, but I don't know. Like, he was wearing a ski mask, I'm pretty sure.
Oh my God, you guys, did you hear what she just said? She said, to be honest, I'm remembering less. Wow. And didn't we talk about that? How we knew Dylan Mortensen was at least interviewed 4 times. And there were things that she was going to remember that she didn't remember then. But there were also things she was going to start forgetting because her mind was going to start protecting her from the trauma. Wow.
Gloves and like black hoodie, sweatpants, something like that.
Okay. And then can you describe the length of the knife to me?
I would say like a little bit bigger than a steak knife is what I remembered right after it happened. Like maybe just
a smidge bigger than a steak knife, but not like a butcher knife or anything.
Can you give me like a hand estimate? Because that, okay. If you want to hold your hands kind of down that way, I'm going to take a picture of your estimate there. And is that with the handle or without?
Just like the blade.
Okay, with the handle,
Alright.
how long would you say?
Maybe like that long.
Okay. Did you see the handle at all?
No, it was like in his hand.
Okay.
Police did not charge the neighbor because they said they didn't have probable cause, and the case to this day remains unsolved. Fast forward to January of 2023, days after Brian Kohberger's arrest, and someone in the Pullman Police Department started asking questions about Brian Kohberger. A Pullman officer wrote in a supplemental report on the burglary, although Kohberger would not have been residing in Pullman during October 2021, Commander Brashears advised that Pullman Police Department had received information that WSU's Department of Criminal Justice and Criminology may have had an on-campus event for prospective graduate students that Kohberger may have attended around the time of this incident. I emailed the department's graduate program coordinator, Danielle Macon, requesting information. Macon responded the following day and wrote that the department was looking into my request. Now, it was worth looking into. Both incidents involved a knife, although one was a large K-bar, and the Pullman incident involved what was described as a small steak knife. And in both incidents, the perpetrator wore a mask. But in the Pullman incident, the burglar was described as short, maybe 5'3" or 5'5". Danielle Macon wrote in an email to another staff member, "Okay, so I figured out who I met with on October 15th, and it was BK Norton. I think we can safely tell Pullman PD that we are not aware of any visit from Kohberger during the period they indicated. We did not hold a recruitment event during that time and actually did not hold an in-person one that fall anyway." So Kohberger was determined to not be involved in the burglary in Pullman in October 2021, and the burglary was placed on inactive status. But what could this incident mean possibly for Kohberger, if anything at all? I want to bring in somebody who has been following the Brian Kohberger case very closely, just like I have. She is Ashley Banfield. She's a host on News Nation. She hosts Banfield on News Nation every night, and she has a great new podcast coming out. It's called Drop Dead Serious. We'll talk more about that later. So, Ashley, I want to know what your first thoughts were when you heard that the police had gone back and looked at Brian Kohberger as a possible person of interest in this October 2021 home invasion, where a guy goes into a house with a small steak knife and a mask and stands over a woman. She kicks him and then he takes off.
Right, at 3:30 in the morning and all dressed in black. It sounded so familiar. Well, first I sort of like my blood ran cold. Hair stood up on my arms, as always happens when something really eerie is disclosed. And then I was thinking more about it, digging a little deeper. My first thought was that they had looked at him back then. And I thought, well, that was prior to the Idaho 4 murders. Why on earth would the police have ever been drawn to this, med student who, as looking back, he wasn't even at the university at that time. Like, what would have drawn them to him? But it was a after the fact look back. If you're going to arrest a guy for this kind of a heinous crime with this sort of modus operandi, then I guess you're going to look back at all your case files and start investigating the other creepy crimes that are similar in that area. So
Son of a bitch. Do y'all know how much I talk? Huh. Anyways, stop it right there, because if you're listening to this, all you pro burgers, listen, the pro burgers, this is something that you guys can put in your arsenal that could help you in your theory that Brian Kohberger is not guilty. that there's another madman on the loose out there, that portrayed the exact same way of trying to commit a crime. Had this girl not woke up, maybe we would be looking at another stabbing death. Thank God she did. Okay, so I'm going to need you guys to put this, what I just showed you, into your arsenal for that, because I mean, it's a good defense, you know. Listen, a year before the Idaho murders happened, something very similar happened, but a girl woke up and was able to kick the shit out of him, you know, and get him out of her house. So, you know, that's good for the defense. Go ahead and use that. I welcome you to. And then there's other stuff that she said that we would not think Brian Koberger, like his height, 5'3", 5'4". You cannot mistake Brian Koberger is 6 foot tall. I mean, it's just hard to mistake, unless, of course, I'm going to play devil's advocate and I'm going to go at it both ways. Okay. Unless you're laying down. Now go, everybody. I'll wait. I'll wait. Let me give you some time. Do what I do to my spouse, which is I drive him crazy first and foremost. He thinks I'm a freaking lunatic. Y'all only have to deal with me for a couple hours. This man has to live with me. He knows that I'm batshit crazy. Okay. So let's pull a leanie. Go in there to your spouse or another adult in your home. I want you to have them go lay on the bed. You turn out the lights, maybe have a candle going or a little light in the bathroom. I don't know what the fuck. And then I need you just to walk in the room. And then ask them how tall you are. You're laying down. I want to know how tall you are. Now, I know how tall my husband is. So all day I'm going to say 5'11", because I know how tall he is. So when you go and reconstruct this, either you on the bed or them on the bed, so you can walk in and get a feel for it. Can you tell when you're laying on a bed that someone is 5'4" or 6 foot? I'm curious, especially when she said it happened so fast that she couldn't tell you if it was a man or a woman, if he was skinny or fat, if he was, all she knows is that it was, she thinks it was a burgundy cap and he had a knife in his hand. So exactly, if you're not sizing them up, if they're not coming in there to even speak a word to you, they're just going to be in and out. And some of that time that they're in and out, you don't kick the shit out of them and you fell into your closet. Please tell me how you're able to tell me that what size someone is standing straight up. So for me, I don't buy that. Even when Delphi was going on and they were saying that the perpetrator we were looking at was about, what were they saying, 5'9" to 5'10", whatever. I was like, how do you know that? You don't know that. First of all, he is behind the victim on the bridge, so he's going to look shorter than what he is. He's not going to look taller. He's going to look shorter. So exactly what mathematical skills are you using to tell me that this man is? So what I'm getting to is, unless you're standing next to a person, you are not going to be able to say about how tall they are. Sorry, it's just not going to happen. I think you'd be able to tell if they're fat or if they're skinny, you know, depending on what clothes they're wearing or whatever. But I mean, you'd be able to say something, but she couldn't say anything. She said, I just think he was normal. What is normal? Now, we know that Brian Koberger was not in school during this time. There's another one for you pro-burgers. Put that in your arsenal. He was not at the school, enrolled at the school at the time of this incident that happened. They also were not having any kind of greetings for new incoming students on campuses that day. Put that in your arsenal as well. Okay. And I'm not saying that Brian Koberger did it. I'm this one. I'm not saying Brian Koberger did the one that I'm showing you body cam footage of. What I want to know is what came to me when I was listening to all of this is how much do serial killers or people who kill for personal reasons that I believe this is, how much education do they actually have on their crime? In other words, did Brian Koberger actually, because I believe him to be the killer of the Idaho Four, did he actually go to school to understand why he has the feelings that he has about people, to understand how to commit the crime, what police are going to look for, what they're not going to look for, how they solve crime? Did he go to school knowing that this is what he was going to be when he grew up? You know, he's got these feelings of hatred, and he knows that this is in his path, and he's got to figure it out. Lulu says everyone looks 6 feet to her. She literally looks up to everyone, right? That's a different whole case right there. Hi, bees. I want to see what Lindley said. Remember, he was a security guard for Pleasant Valley School District and was fired for an undisclosed incident in August 2021. Lindley, I did not know that. I absolutely did not know that. That was Brian Koberger. Where did you find that at? I want to know. It would intimidate Bundy. It would imitate Bundy, who went to law school. Right. Joni says there may have been what attracted him to criminology, Leanie. Right. I mean, because we know clear back, long time, you know, he was on Reddit and other things and really trying to get into the minds of maybe like-minded people. My other question would be, what would be the purpose if he knew he was going down this path? If he knew, I don't think anybody wakes up one day out of the blue and suddenly says, well, damn, I think I'm going to head on over to that house and murder a couple people. I just don't think that happens. I think people who become serial killers, and people who kill out of passion, it is something that is in their brain and they've worked on for so long, obsessing over it. Like just working themselves up into this, like, let's go. You've pissed me off enough. You've hurt me enough. I can't stand to have you on this earth anymore. I don't think I don't think I'm going to wake up tomorrow and think, you know, even people who I despise, just don't like them. I've never felt like killing somebody except once in my life. And, but at least I gave him a heads up I was coming. In fact, I told him on the phone I was going to kill him and told him to get a gun out because he was going to have to kill me. Anyways, the police stopped that. Almost got arrested. Don't know why I didn't get arrested. I had a really nice cop. Everybody's out there. It was terrible. Terrible, terrible. Anyways, there was only one time, but it wasn't something I woke up with. It was something that had been brewing, and absolutely had nothing at all to do with me. It had to do with my daughter. And I tell everybody, don't fuck with my family. You can do whatever you want to, say whatever you want to about me. I don't give a shit. I feel nothing when it comes to that because there's absolutely nothing you could tell me about myself, good or bad, or mainly bad, that I haven't already told to myself. So, that was brewing. And believe me, it was totally a passionate thing because it was my kid. I told him he was going to need a gun to stop me. I brought nothing but my fists, and I wanted to choke the life out of this dude. It was terrible. So, what I'm saying is, what would be the purpose if Brian Koberg, I believe he knew that this was the path he was on. I don't know at what age it started that he knew he was just going to start taking lives. I don't know. But he actually tried to get a job with the Pullman Police Department, correct? Right? And for whatever reason, and they won't release the records that he was turned down for that position, and on his, I guess on the reasonings why he wanted to join the police department was so that he could help them understand and solve, what did he say, solve small crimes or something stupid ass like that. I don't know. I can't remember. There's so much information in my brain. And for whatever reason, he was turned down by the police department, but those records have not been released. I don't know if they will be. Maybe what Lindley says is right. Maybe he was discharged from that job and Pullman was able to pull it up and say, what the hell makes you think you're going to work here if you couldn't work? You know what I mean? Who knows? Who knows? Here's another question I have just for you guys to ask yourself. Where we see the defense going now and the motions that they're starting to file and the things that are really starting to amp up is the defense is trying to say that that the DNA evidence, yes, there is DNA evidence at the crime scene. They got that. Okay. They understand it. There's no negating it. But now what's being said is that the Pullman Police Department planted the information. That information was planted. That piece of evidence was planted by someone. Now, please enlighten me this, riddle me this. Was the police, which officer? Let's just pick an officer. So he's walking around with a knife sheet in the back of his pants. How people like put guns back there, gangsters put guns in the back of their pants and pull their shirt over it so you can't see it. Was this officer of the law, living day to day with that knife sheath in the back of his pants so that he could continue doing his work, pulling people over, giving citations, shit like that, just waiting for a murder to happen so they could plant Koberger's because they wanted him. They didn't like him, so damn it, somehow, some way, they got his DNA, put it on a knife sheath, had to wait for a murder to take place somewhere right around there that had to be done by a knife. And by God, it got to be planted. Wow. Here's some news for you. I've also heard people saying, well, when he went to go apply for the Pullman Police Department, wouldn't they have taken his DNA? Yeah, afterwards. If they were considering hiring him, yeah, he would have gone for a drug screen. if they were going to do any kind of background check on him because they were considering hiring him, then yeah, they would have asked for DNA, done a background check, and done a piss test. Okay. It's like every other job out there, except some don't require DNA. Because I guarantee you one thing, if any of these police departments had Brian Koberger's DNA and we're going to frame him for this, there's no way they would have gotten the IGG involved in it because they knew at that point that that was going to be brought up. Plus, do you know how much money that is to get an independent DNA place to do that? Not just one either. It was done by 2. So you really think, I mean, wouldn't it have been more logical and understanding and black and white if the Pullman Police Department said, oh, hey, we know Brian. He applied to us to try to get on our police force. We've got his DNA. No need at all to use IGG, you guys, and find his dad, and then to find, go all the way to Albright's bill. No reason. We got it. Just do this DNA with your knife sheath DNA. We got him. Wouldn't that go over more well in court than bringing in IGG? I don't know. I mean, that makes sense to me. All this fantasy land, the fantasy land that the pro burgers are living on. And not just pro burgers, pro Richard Allen, pro everybody. Oh my God. What is it going to take for these people to be on their deathbed and actually say, I did it? And then what? I mean, kind of like OJ. I mean, didn't know. I would be real. And I think I know the people that come in here all the time. I can say I know my friends pretty well. And I think they're smart enough to say, hold on, because Maggie said it in the beginning. Hold on, I don't know what to believe. I'm so conflicted. And then the more we went over it, the good and the bad. And the more digging she actually did herself and didn't even listen to me, but would send me stuff and say, oh my God, I didn't know this. And I'd be like, well, yeah. There's enough evidence if we went to trial right now, if we went to trial right now and I was on that jury and never once heard the names of the 4 victims, I would convict him. Absolutely. If you could tell me that you need more evidence to show that it was him that did these crimes, I'm going to need to know, without belittling you at all, evidence that shows he's not connected to these crimes. Now, I understand in a court of law, it is not the defense's job to prove his innocence, yet it is the prosecution's job to prove guilt. I get that. But I think if I can show you evidence after evidence after evidence, just by looking at documents, looking at listening to family members talk, listening to eyewitnesses talk, and I'm not talking about anybody else's opinion. If I could show you evidence as to why I believe he did it, I would think that you could show me evidence as to why you think you didn't. And I would be so excited to hear it. Because, like I said, I thought I had it all figured out in my head. And with a few people in chat that have been here ever since we started the Coburger Wednesdays and the question and answering on Thursdays, I really thought I had it figured out how this must have went down. But from the people talking about things that they know and the research that they've done and things that they've seen and the things that have been sent to me, I thought I got the right person, but I might have the wrong way he went about it. I'm willing to be wrong. Just show it to me. I want to know. I have no desire to put an innocent man or woman behind bars for anything. And I realize that it could happen to any of us in here. It's scary. It's so scary to think that any one of us could be found guilty for a crime we know nothing about. And it's happened time and time again. I understand that. But I'm telling you, in my beliefs and my way of looking at this, by the evidence that I've seen so far, this is a slam dunk case against Brian Koberger. And I'm asking anybody out there, come and talk to me why I'm wrong. Show me I'm wrong. Let me do me some research. I love research. I love documents. I love timelines. I love all of it. I love it all. I love gruesome crime scenes. Speaking of gruesome crime scenes, the last time we were on Koberger Friday, and I'm going to close with this, we talked with Lulu and Jay Brad. Now, both of them, I've said it before, I'll probably always say it because I feel honored, and you should too, to have a retired FBI agent of 20 years that hangs out here with us and gives us some legal terminology and things that we wouldn't understand why they're doing it in a different way than we think they should do it. And then we have got a funeral director that talks about what we should be looking at as far as a body is concerned. After we got off that live and we talked about, Lulu talked to us off panel about what would we be looking at and smelling of these poor victims 9 hours later. And then we talked to JB about what she had seen and murder victims maybe that had stayed around a little bit longer and what we would be viewing and things. Well, you guys know me. I'm a gory person. Gore doesn't scare me. Blood and guts don't scare me. Crime scenes don't scare me. I should have been a crime scene cleanup tech. And Max Smith, just so you know, I went to go and apply to be a crime scene tech, but I found out you have to be on call for 24 hours, like 24 hours a day. Now, y'all, I'm good at certain times of day. Call me all you want, y'all come clean it up. But don't be calling me when I sleep, because the deal is I don't sleep good. So when I can get sleep, I'm going to be sleeping. So I just can't be bothered by crime scene. But when I'm awake, oh, I'm all into it. I'm all yours. Also, Max Smith, I also went, since that wasn't going to work out for me, I applied, was going to apply to become one of the people that worked for the coroner's office that would go to places to pick up deceased bodies and bring them back to the coroner. Then I found out you're still on 24-hour call. Now listen, if I'm awake and you want me to go pick up a dead body, I'm your girl. I'm your girl. I'm going to go pick up that dead body. But when I'm asleep, I can't be bothered, because God knows when I'm going to sleep again, and I need it. Believe me. If you saw me, you'd be like, get some sleep. Said all that to say this. After that live, I was thinking, what do I know? Who do I know? I went into some dark sites, And then I came out of the dark sites because I wasn't getting what I wanted there. And I remembered. It just hit me. And I questioned Lulu without telling her what I was doing at first, and she just answered my questions. I questioned Lulu, who's our resident funeral director, about what happens with the body after it dies, from first to finish. And would I be noticing this? Would I be noticing this within the first 8 hours? Because we know a little over 8 hours, the bodies were there and the police weren't called for whatever reason. We don't know yet. I remembered when I was obsessing literally over all of that. The Jodi Arias case. She killed Travis Alexander. We all know about it. Mesa, Arizona. Anytime I hear somebody lives in Mesa, Arizona, I'm going, oh my God, have you been by the Alexander house? I'm so sickening. Okay. I think somebody that comes in here is from Mesa. Anyways, I went to the pictures. Now, mind you, his body wasn't found for 5 days. 5 days. But he was killed in a likewise manner of the way that we know that these 4 victims were killed. Some of them not to the extent that Travis Alexander took, and some of them just as bad as what he took. Some of them got partial and the other people got partial. You know what I mean? Like, you could look at Travis Alexander's wounds, and it's safe to say that if you put all 4 victims together, you would come up with Travis, what was done to him. Shamefully. So I, of course, went looking because I want to know what I'm missing. I want to know how much blood from one person. Now, we're talking 4 people with this case, but I want to know from one person how much blood I'm going to see here. I went looking. It was insane. From one person, the amount of blood. Now, we know that Travis Alexander was moving. He did not die right away. He was fighting for his life. So there's blood everywhere. So that led me to think about Xana and Kaylee. Now, in my belief, Kaylee and Maddie's bed that they were asleep in, we're not going to find a lot of blood around the room. I think there will be splatter marks on the wall, dripping, things like that. Sorry, I'm being gruesome. Trigger warning. But they were on a mattress, so the mattress in the bed would have swallowed up a lot of the blood. Ethan and Xana would have been a totally different story. We know at least one of them was on the floor because there's blood coming out of the wall. I was a firm believer that that was Xana. Still could be. I don't know. Now I'm not so sure. This is what I'm talking about with people who come in here to talk to me and give me things to think about. That was one of the things. I really, really thought that was Xana, whose blood we were seeing outside of the house. And it still could be, but it may not be. It may be Ethan's, right? The blood, even if one of them was found on the bed from the fight and they just ended up on the bed, and one of them was on the floor, then the blood, of course, would be less. If it was Xana, because Xana's a smaller girl than Travis Alexander was. So therefore, she would have not as much blood in her, but the crime scene would still be pretty bloody. If it was Ethan, I would imagine they were about the same time, him and Travis Alexander, and there would be about the same amount of blood. Regardless whose it was a bloodbath. Looking at those images of what I've, and of course I seen all the images, you guys. I watched the whole trial Jodi Arias's trial, and I seen all the images, but that's before they were put where they're put now, which is just very simple to find. Just type in his name. You don't even have to go out there to the dark places. And at first, I had to go to the dark places way back when to see him. And I want to see stuff. If I'm following something, damn it, I want to know, because I want to make up my mind too. And I like gore. It's just weird. Anyways, after looking at all that, I kind of got visuals of what, after 8 hours of somebody walking in and finding these people, what the blood possibly would look like and how dried it would be depending on the pool of blood, and what the marks on their bodies would kind of look like after 8 to 9 hours as well. So I'm not sitting around here just listening to Gray Hughes, or I mentioned Gray Hughes at the beginning of this, and who else did I mention? Drunk Turkey Show. In fact, I watch Gray Hughes for maps. I watch Gisela True Crime for maps. And this is the first time I've ever watched the Drunk Turkey Show for anything other than just scrolling through trying to find a place to belong. But when I saw in his title that he has the full audio, of course I wanted to know too. So I went and I listened. So what I'm saying is I'm not using other creators' stuff. If I was using that, then I would have written down everything Gray Hughes says in the lines that it's supposed to be, the redacted stuff, and everything that Drunk Turkey was putting out there in the redacted stuff. And I would have come on here and I would have read it to you. That's not my work. I didn't pay for those documents. Where I'm just going to wait, just like the rest of you, unless you decide to go to one of those two channels or another channel. I don't think they're the only ones that have it. Or another channel. Go ahead and go. But I don't have the right to use stuff like that and make it my own. That's their work. That's their discovery. And I'm not like that. Everything I do for what I'm doing, sincerely, I'm busting my ass. I'm researching every day. This is no joke. And I would tell you if I am exaggerating, but I'm not exaggerating. I research every freaking day. Every freaking day. And not researching by watching other YouTubers. I'm digging into these freaking documents. And that's how I ended up remembering about the damn ID or IDs that were found in Koberger's house. I've forgotten. There's a lot of things we've all probably forgotten. It's important to remember them. I do, Richie. I do like gore. I do. It's not so much liking, I guess. I have a fascination with murders and things like that. I don't know why. God forgive me. Jovel, hello, sweetheart. Jovel's working on something in her background, y'all. Before I leave, guys, can you guys do me a favor? Can we start dropping links? Mods, will you start dropping links? First, drop your own link. And I mean, drop your own link. Don't play me. Okay? Drop your own links, please. And then start dropping links to people who support this channel. I would appreciate that so much. Listen, guys, the people who support this channel and the people in here who have links, y'all, I would never send you somewhere that I wouldn't go visit. These are legit people, and they have great, you would think because we all hang out together that we're all kind of putting out the same stuff. We're not. It's all different. We all have different passions and stuff like that. These are great channels. Some people just only do video. Some people do shorts. Some people do live. Some people do music. Some people do it all. Right? But I promise the people's channels that are being dropped in this chat, you guys, I would hang out with any day of the week in their chat. Even if I stopped doing this channel, I would be in these chats because they all have something else to bring to the table. Whatever you need, you're going to find it in one of these links. I promise you that. I promise you. So check them out, you guys. Please check them out. Jovel is here. She does the most beautiful music. I do want to say this. A couple of us saw the Godfather. RC dropped his link is dropped in chat. You guys, just so you know, a couple of us saw RC in another chat, and I think it was Wild Angels, and he let us know that here in just, I think he said a week, he was going to be doing a live. So prayerfully, RC is going to start doing his lives. According to Leanie, please watch Mob Crew. I have watched Mob Crew before. I love him. I absolutely love him. Yes. Before I had a channel, I watched some of his true crime. I love him. Yes. Anyways, you guys, and I'm also asking because they're my friends, and they've been so supportive here, and I guarantee you they will be supportive of you as well, as long as you're some kind of decent human being. You got to kind of be a decent human being and love for your fellow man. Well, most of your fellow men, not all of them, because some people are just sickening and beyond love. You just got to like them and go your own way. You can go, yeah. Oh, y'all, just Stevie Nicks. I can't hit them notes. Damn it. I wish Maggie was here. She could sing to us. Lindsay Buckingham telling Stevie Nicks to go her own way. Oh my God, good stuff. I have to go listen to music now. Shit on a brick. Where's Maggie when I need her to sing? Thank y'all so much for dropping the links in chat. Yeah, if you're hanging out in the bushes, you need somewhere else to hang out. Hang out with my friends. Go watch their videos. They're funny people. A lot of compassion, a lot of funniness, a lot of sarcasm. We ain't taking anybody seriously, really, over anything. We're just not. And we're a great group of people to be around. So there. Thank you so much. All right, guys, I appreciate you being here. To the mods, thank you so much. The mad mods for keeping chat safe and a wonderful place to hang out. To the channel members, thank you for helping me pay the bills around here. I appreciate you so much. And lastly, to the chat, whether you dropped in for a minute, whether you've been here the whole time, whether you're hanging out in the naked bushes, I appreciate you most of all, because without you, we don't have a channel. We don't have a channel. I'm very aware. All right. I love you guys. Until next time, I will see you guys on the next one, I guess. And if you can't be good at it. If you can't be good at it, send me some video because we need content. All right, guys. Love you. Bye.